Hello and welcome to Third Act Film. Today we're discussing our most surprising films of 2016. So these are those that exceeded our expectations. Here with me is Todd James.
Hello.
And I'm James Forbes.
Hello, James.
Todd, go on, kick us off.
Right, number 5, Ouija, Origin of Evil.
Alright, horror film, go.
Yeah, sequel to
Ouija.
a bad horror film. I mean, it was bad.
Or Ouija, as so many people call it.
Yeah, Ouija. Well, apparently it's Ouija, because it's meant to be yes in French, followed by yes in German. Yes, yes.
Jeez.
Ouija,
Yeah.
Origin of it.
Isn't it so weird that was just a board game sold to kids that then was like, but there's a ghost though.
Yeah.
But it was like, no.
Came out today, would you get that for your kids?
Yeah. But it was just a normal game, and then it was
in shops. It was like next to Monopoly.
Yeah. Look, people's fingers pushed to letters.
Yeah. Anyway, not the best horror film of the year.
Yeah.
But
what was your expectation going in then?
I thought this will be. I mean, it's a horror sequel where the first one was terrible.
Yeah.
Like that should really explain my expectations completely, and it's pretty good.
Oh right.
It's the ending is a little bit cliched, but up to that point, it's pretty good. And I took my mum, who has been like hardcore watching horror films for decades, and even she was like, "Yeah, that was pretty good."
Oh,
and
right.
the whole thing was made like it was a film because it was set in, I think, the 60s, and the whole thing was made like it was a film in the 60s. And
so good, like set design and costumes.
Yeah. And even the things like the studio logo was the old one they used to have for Universal and stuff like that. And it was just like nice little touches. And clearly it came from a place where they wanted to make something good, and they did. And it had Henry Thomas in it, who played Elliot in E.T.
No
Good to
way,
see him
he's
getting
still
work.
alive.
Good to see him getting work.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just like a decent, solid horror film. I was shocked.
That's pretty dope. That sounds
That's pretty
good.
dope.
Yeah. That sounds pretty good. Wow.
You're number 5.
My list ain't
Because
so great.
I know you haven't seen it, so
I haven't
don't
seen it.
contribute
I
and
don't
let's
see
carry
horror
on.
films. Sausage Party. No.
I almost put that in mind.
Yeah, it was just...
Oh no, hold on. You say your bit and then I'll say what I was going to say.
Okay. Yeah, Slush Party, I was expecting some dumb kind of weed humour. Like Pineapple Express and all that malarkey. I mean, there is some of that in it, but it took a risk. It really did. And it was like, yeah, we call it Slush Party, we do a load of innuendos, but let's actually discuss a bigger topic by ripping it apart and telling jokes about it. And I really enjoyed it. I was like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that. I didn't pay to see this.
When I said I almost put it in my list,
Yeah.
the list it almost went in was most disappointing films of the year.
Oh.
Allow me to clarify. No, because it wasn't funny.
Oh, you didn't find it funny? Oh,
No.
right.
Like that, a comedy, it can be many things, but if it's not funny,
I always find funny, any kind of Israel Arab relation.
Okay, yeah,
that
was
an Achilles heel for me. If that happens, I am already laughing.
That was the funniest. All the funniest moments were those bits, but
And that was Edward Norton as well. Like,
yeah, I know, that's unbelievable.
yeah,
But and I thought it was very. I get what you mean. Like there was a lot of underlying like allegorical elements to it, but they were very heavy-handed.
but I think from the advertising alone, you wouldn't have guessed it was anything to do with religion.
Oh, it gave you a lot more than
The advert's just like, oh, what if food was real? And there's dick jokes.
And there were.
Let's just clarify. If you were expected some, there are some.
Yeah.
So you won't be disappointed by that, but yeah.
Yeah, it was fine. It was, oh well.
Alright, moving on.
My number 4, Angry Birds.
Oh yeah, I remember your review, you said, is this like the best video game movie ever?
And it is, actually, well, it was.
Until...
Assassin's Creed.
Oh, okay.
Which is a terrible film,
but
a good extension of the universe.
Okay.
Anyway, that's my mini review there. Angry Birds was, I mean, talk about an uninspiring intellectual property. Right, I mean, drag a bird left and make it.
Shoot some pigs' houses. Yeah.
Plus, it's 5 years too late.
Yeah,
At
yeah.
least 5 years too late.
Yeah.
Nothing about it was exciting going in, and I laughed a lot. Not like loads, but a lot. Like some surprisingly adult jokes in there. There's a lot of like wordplay jokes, like clever puns and stuff.
But it did have a good cast in it. It did have some.
Bill Hader was in it.
Bill Hader.
Josh Gad.
I don't know. That's funny.
It's just Josh Gad.
Josh Gad he can be funny, and he can also be very loud.
He is capable of
loudness. Difficult to tell when is he good.
And Sean Penn was in it.
Oh, no way.
He didn't have any lines. He just went.
Oh, right.
So I'm glad he got a paycheck for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like you said at the time, best video game adaptation ever, and just like a fairly decent. Like I would happily watch that with my kids that don't exist.
Yeah. Totally. Sounds good.
Again, you haven't seen
that one, yeah.
Okay, good. I'm glad.
My number 4 is Michael Moore's Where to Invade Next.
Okay.
Documentary.
Yeah, no, I've seen it. It was on my top 10 of the year.
Yeah. It was just, Michael Moore, he can be a bit preaching. He's a bit like,
sure,
conspiracy, everything's crap. But this one, he did it. It was from a positive start. It was like, I'm going out to find what works for other people to bring back home. And I think it translated really well. I initially went in to watch it thinking, Americans. Like, oh gosh, Americans.
Can't wait to watch him trash talk.
I can't wait for America to realise how bad they have it. And then as it was going on, I was like, we don't have that.
This might as well be about England.
It may as well have been about
England. He
England.
didn't go to England once on his tour of the highlights of Europe. Yeah,
he didn't come here once. And he was going to France to see how the kids get their school dinners, and it's like 5-star restaurant quality. He was going to Italy.
In France, it's a good job to be the head chef at a school.
Yeah, that's like
it's
people
respected
aspire
for a chef to be that.
And then he's going to Italy and how they get paid 13 months worth of work in a year, and they get all of this holiday that rolls over. I was like, what?
I would just say, yeah.
I got to a point when it's like, this isn't fun anymore. I wanted to laugh at Americans.
Yeah.
But now I'm looking at my own country thinking, oh my God, we're being screwed over. But that's why it was a surprise for me. And
the best scene in that is when he's with the Italian couple.
Yeah.
They're like, tell me what holidays you've had this year. And they've been to 8 countries.
Yeah. And it's I loved Michael Moore just being like, wait a second. Michael Moore's obviously quite a progressive thinker.
Yeah.
And he knows a lot of these ideas, but even he was still shocked. And I know it's probably the interviewer in himself and the reporter in himself, but when he was asking some questions, it was like, but how does that make financial sense? Yeah. How have you got away with this? And they'll explain, well, happier people
work better.
Yeah.
Whew. Just like the happy staff at the Third Act Film Towers.
Towers.
Yeah. Towers plural.
Yeah.
Great. It was a great documentary. I really enjoyed it. My number 3, The Legend of Tarzan.
Another film I missed.
Because
it looked awful.
It did look awful, didn't it? It just looked like 2 attractive people not doing anything interesting.
You're Jane. He's Tarzan. He will come for you.
Yeah, exactly. It just looked like a sort of someone had seen the recent Planet of the Apes films and were like, what else can we do with this technology? Well, that film's taken a year off.
Yeah.
Tarzan. Like, everyone knows the Tarzan story. Although this was kind of a sequel to the classic Tarzan story.
Yeah.
It was just really good. Like, everyone was good enough in it, apart from Margot Robbie. There was some pretty decent action scenes. Alexander Skarsgård showed me again, he can be a leading man easily, and
that body though.
The scene where he undresses in the rain. Woo! And yeah, it was just like so many films now. And don't get me wrong, I love the Marvel films, but you've got to research it. You've got to know about it. This was the thing where you just go in and you watch it, and then you just don't think about it anymore. And so few films, big films, have that.
Yeah.
And I just kind of really appreciated it slap bang in the middle of summer, just like a little nugget of here's
like
something.
Actual blockbuster.
Yeah, like never watch me again, Todd.
Yeah.
And I never will.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and just it should have been rubbish, but it was actually pretty good.
That's going to be a recurring theme in today's video.
Yeah, it's almost like it. Anyway, your number 3.
My number 3 is Bleed for This.
Yes. Oh, why did this should be on my list?
Yeah. I just walked in thinking, oh yeah, Miles Teller, the most beautiful ugly man ever.
You both love and hate him.
And I was just like, it's just a boxing film. Who cares? It'll waste a couple of hours, and then came out of it feeling really pumped and really motivated.
Yeah.
It's so. I mean, you could just see it as just a massive cliche, but there were so many just personal performances, and there were so many people. I was just like, yeah, I would love to hang out with you.
Yeah,
and
the dynamic of Miles Teller and Aaron Eckhart. And I think I said we watched this together.
We did. Yeah.
And as soon as the first thing I said after we watched it was Aaron Eckhart has finally become like the middle-aged character actor he should have always been.
He has reached his final form.
Yeah.
His career will never be better than now.
No, and yeah, it was really good. Like it was basically your bog standard boxing film / biopic, but it was just done really well.
Yeah, and it didn't need to be. No one was like Oscar nominee.
Yeah.
In the waiting. No one was asking for anything from it. It was just like every actor on their career, every male actor typically does a boxing film.
You always say that, yeah.
And this was just Miles's attempt. His best friend already did it in Creed. So no, I was not expecting anything, and it turned out really good. And actually, it's just weird that where was the promotion? Why was no one shouting? It's a good film, by the way.
Why didn't it come out like a month later? Why is it not being considered amongst all these other films that are for awards recognition and stuff?
It's just very weird, but whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Good choice.
Your number 2.
My number 2, a film you definitely haven't seen, Passengers.
I might see it this weekend, but yeah.
Okay.
Do not ruin it for me.
I will be very careful. For anyone who has seen it, you'll know exactly what I mean. The advertising advertises a boring film, and the film they actually have is an interesting film.
Oh, right.
It's a completely different plot to the plot that is in the trailers.
Why have we been woken up? I don't know. I'm so woke.
I'm so woke. Yeah, and it's just like that. It looked terrible. Let's face it. The trailers looked boring. It looked like it was just going to be an hour and a half, 2 hours of just watching two attractive people kind of doing nothing. Which I mean, there are worse ways to spend a couple of hours. But it was surprising. It was tense. It was like, I was tense through a lot of it. I cared. The acting, I'd like Jennifer Lawrence has shown she can act a bunch of times. Chris Pratt is playing in the big leagues now.
Yeah.
Like, this is the first time.
Wow.
It was to the point where he wasn't, anytime he did say like a witty quip, I was like, that actually didn't work. Like, so invested in his character.
Yeah.
I was so invested in his character that when he did anything Chris Pratt like, I was like, oh, that's not right.
Mm.
And yeah, it looked really good. The music was great as well. I remember feeling like the music in it was really good. I remember that. Enjoy watching it this weekend. Let me know what you think.
I will. Yeah.
Good.
I'm excited now, yeah. Which probably wouldn't hit this list then. My expectations were
true.
But
sorry for...
You ruined it!
I know.
Alright, moving on. My number 2 is Shah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen this one.
You haven't seen it?
No.
Yeah. When you're told that the whole film is sung, I'm like, I've seen Les Mis. I know what that means. I know what that means. It means it's rubbish, and that you're just pegging it to get, every in between singing part is just moving from one song to another.
When people should be talking, you'll be frustrated that they're like,
you're like, can you stop singing?
2, 4, 6, 0, 1. Yeah.
And you're like, I don't stop, please end. But this one, you don't even realise when a song has started and another one has ended. You don't even realise that every line rhymes for a whole film.
Oh.
It's like, how did you do this? How were you able to do all of this? And most importantly, just how strong of a message there is. Especially when I knew beforehand. I think really helps knowing that Jennifer Hudson, she herself, either her brother or a cousin or a close relative to hers, was shot when she was younger from two gangs shooting at each other, and was an innocent bystander. And that for her to have a scene in this film, which is along similar lines to that, almost exactly. And it's just, and then there's some surprise performances. John Cusack, I believe his name is.
Just preacher.
You would think, what is John Cusack doing in a Spike Lee film?
Those
get out!
Good, yeah.
There's Nick Cannon, yeah. Wesley Snipes, yeah. John Cusack.
But you see, I'm surprised because I'm so excited to watch it.
Yeah.
Everything about it is appealing to me.
Yeah.
I can't.
It's just a musical.
You were expecting good and you got fantastic.
I was expecting boring and I got fantastic. I was expecting a musical that would drone on,
dragging,
but turned out really good. Yeah.
Good. I'm now pumped for that. The same way you're pumped for Passengers.
Yeah.
My number one, the film that most surprised me how good it was, Ghostbusters.
Oh, no way.
Have you seen Ghostbusters?
I have not. You must have been
a complete 5. I've done it. Ghostbusters didn't just surprise me that it wasn't terrible. It was genuinely good. There are some stupid bits, like whenever people say, "Look how dumb and stupid this film is," they show certain clips, which that's fine. But it's actually, I enjoyed it a lot. I laughed through the whole thing. I would say as much as through Deadpool, which is like one of the funniest films this year. I laughed consistently through the whole thing. There was good action in it. One good action scene in it. And talk about a film showing its worst pieces in a trailer. That was Ghostbusters. The trailer for Ghostbusters deserves to be the most disliked trailer on YouTube of all time.
It does a disservice to the film.
Yeah. And you haven't seen it, so we can't. We can't really talk it out. Thanks a lot for having my back here.
Yeah, sorry.
It was just really good. And I know that's the whole point of this video, and there's not that much more to say.
Yeah,
should have been terrible. Was actually really good.
That's quality.
Your last one.
We can riff on this. I believe it's called I learned this yesterday. A duologue.
A duologue.
A duologue, something like that. When two people are talking.
Yeah.
Anyway,
like a monologue, but for two people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My number one pick. This will surprise you.
Okay.
Is Edge of 17.
I understand.
You get that?
Yeah,
oh, right.
I get it.
I couldn't have lower expectations for a film like this. I don't know. Why did we watch it again? I think it was because we were watching more than one film in a day.
Did we go together?
Yeah.
And we walked out of one and we were like, oh, it's starting now.
Yeah.
Let's go. Oh, why not?
I think it was that we were watching 3 and then there was a
fit
2.
neatly in between. Yeah.
So it was, okay, whatever. But, and I was blown away, really. I'm not saying it's the best film ever. It was just very funny, very engaging, a real good modern coming of age story. And although really it's the most cliched film ever,
True.
Really, it didn't feel cliched when you were watching it
because it made fun of those cliches while doing them in a way.
Yeah, a bit like Deadpool, really.
Deadpool's been mentioned a lot today. Yeah.
Yeah, it cliched its way to success, but this one, it just worked, and you again supporting characters. I mean, they get so underestimated. You need supporting characters.
You're talking about Woody Harrelson,
and I'm of course talking about Woody Harrelson, who was just so perfect in this film.
How horrible he was to her was so funny.
Yeah,
because even though she was going through serious traumatic things, he was just like, "You're just a dumb kid." And there's a moment, and this is very minor spoilers for Edge of 17. There's a moment near the end where something like really bad happens to her. It's not that bad, but she thinks it's like a world-ending event. And then she goes to his house, and she sees that he's like got a family, and you kind of see it in her face. She's like, "I never really realized that other people have a life outside of me." Yeah, and it's like there was this really big, like the film got deep, like really. Yeah, suddenly.
It got really, and Woody Harrelson plays a perfect role of us now that we're older. and that we look at our teenage
He's been
selves.
through it all.
We've all been through school, and we look at our teenage selves, and we just want to say to ourselves, dude, seriously, it doesn't matter. Like, it's school, it ends, and then your actual life begins. But you don't know that when you're that age, when you're at the edge of 17.
Oh, we're going to get sued if I keep singing. So sorry.
Because it's so pinpoint.
Yeah, I am Stevie Nicks.
Yeah. And it's just, it was just, didn't have to be that good, and it was. And it was just a lot of fun. And I don't know, I want to say nostalgic, but I'm not that age, because a lot of it was quite modern. But there was still the key elements of being a teenager, which I think translates across the board.
Yeah.
That was all present. Just well done.
Yeah, same as Bleed for this. It was like pretty bog standard, but just done really well.
Yeah. And this is, these are films that are on lower budgets, that didn't have anyone fighting their corner, and have done well. And mass respect.
Mucho respect, yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's our list. If you want to share with us the films of 2016 that surprised you the most, positively, do share that in the comments below. I've been James Forbes.
And I've been Todd James.
Bye.
Machines plugged in to believe that they are the machines who have the humans plugged in. Maybe this is why.
This is why, yeah.
Because they just turn into Natalie Portman.
What better way to motivate Nick Fury to do something than to tell him not to do something?